Welcome to Thought for the Day on this Tuesday morning. I wonder how you felt last week when you heard about the verdict on the policeman who'd killed George Floyd. I wonder how you responded when you saw that Terry had done a Thought for the Day on it. Were you thinking, oh yeah, I want to think more about this? Or I just wonder if some of us just felt a bit weary of having to think about this issue of race all over again. And I was on a Zoom call yesterday, with a number of people from around here, and a black vicar who was working in South London, who's done a bit of work on this area. He's made an interesting video. I'll put that in a link in the comments. He get interesting panel discussion with a number of people around this issue, and also some interesting reflections and prayers on his own experience. And he commented that many of us do feel weary about this issue. He said from his perspective as a person of colour, thinking about race is wearying because he's had to deal with the issues. He's had to deal with it year in, year out. He's working in the part of South London, quite close to where we lived for a couple of years. And he said he has, on a number of occasions, been stopped and searched by the police. We lived there, never had that once. So others on the call said they'd lived in that part of London, white people on the call. Never any suggestion of being stopped and searched by the police. Why is it that a black vicar gets the police want to search them, whereas a white man or a white woman doesn't face that? The people of colour in this country face those issues year in, year out, and so wanting to come and debate it and write papers about it and discuss it is wearying to them. They just want it to come to an end. They're weary of it. But I think, and this man commented that he said many people many white people also feel weary of it. He said he'd been in a panel discussion once, and one of the people on the panel with him, white woman I think, said, "I feel that the only reason I'm here is so that I can be blamed, so that I can feel guilty, and feel guilty for something which I haven't consciously, intentionally been part of, and something which is too big for me to do anything about." And so we feel weary of that as well. Feel guilty, weary of feeling guilty, feeling blamed. And he said, therefore I'm really glad that you've made the time to be on this call. I'm glad that a number of people watched Terry's Thought for the Day last week about race. You didn't turn off and say, "Oh, I'm not going to watch this." I'm glad that we do pick up on this issue, because it's very easy to feel weary. And this issue of blame is maybe at the heart of it. Again, it was on the call I had yesterday, that in Genesis 3, at the beginning of really the problems in the world, it's revealed that the root of the human problem is a sinful tendency to want to blame others. And so maybe those of us who are white want to say, well, this is a problem. It's not our problem. It's a problem of those people who are intentionally racist. Those police officers, those yobs, those people who do the racist things. It's not our problem. We want to blame it over there. And maybe, and I don't want to say this as myself, but this black vicar said it on the call yesterday. He said maybe people of colour want to blame the majority community, want to find someone to blame for things which are there in their own lives. That human tendency to want to blame somebody else kind of infects this whole discussion. And so we're weary, we're feeling blamed or wanting to blame others, and it all feels like a bit of a mess. But it is still an issue. It is still a real issue. And at the end of the conference call yesterday, he made a couple of practical suggestions. Firstly, he said, why not simply try to make a friendship with someone from a different culture? Get to know them as a person, not as an issue. Don't talk about this as an issue, but get to know them as a person. Maybe as you get to know them, you'll discover more about how those experiences are different. Maybe you get some insights into how it feels to have a different colour skin or a different background, and to live where we live. And the second suggestion he said is, we can't change the world, any one of us, but we can stand up for people locally. So if there are individuals facing issues, we can stand up for them. If we hear someone saying something racist, rather than just turning a blind eye, call them out for it. Say, is it really okay to say that? Why do you say that? Do what we can at the small level. And finally, of course, those of us who are involved in the church are involved in something that will ultimately bring this to an end. The divisions between races are real, and they are life-giving. All the differences enable us to see things in a new light. But one day, there will be a great multitude that no one can count, from every nation, tribe, people and language, standing before the throne in front of the Lamb. And those of us who are involved in churches, we can start to build a little foretaste of that wonderful kingdom when people from every nation will stand, not trying to compete with each other, not trying to blame each other, not trying to say, you're the problem, but all saying that God, Jesus Christ, the Lamb of God, is the solution. May God bless you today.